Hello and welcome back to From Girl to Great. I'm Alana and I'm thrilled to introduce today's episode, hosted by Sofi Smith. In this conversation, Sofi speaks with Dr. Raquel Miranda Padilla about her journey as a medical doctor and her transition to impactful community outreach work. From supporting children with cancer to working with families experiencing poverty, Dr. Padilla's story highlights the real difference medical doctors can make in the clinic and beyond. Without further ado, let's get this episode started.
Hello, so today we're going to be speaking with Raquel Miranda Padilla, a med school graduate who runs the community outreach projects in Real Life School. Hello, hey, nice to meet you all. So today we're going to ask her a few questions and her advice as someone who studied medicine and social service and what her experience has been like. Okay, so my first question is, why did you choose to study medicine at first, and what was your experience like?
Okay, I always knew I was gonna help one way or another. I studied in a really cool high school in France where everything related to social services and community outreach was like a top priority. And in the beginning of the 90s, end of the 80s, that was like something different from other schools. So I was lucky enough to go to that boarding school in France where we were 63 nationalities, and it was at a UNESCO school, one of the first. So we got to meet people from all over the world and hear their stories, learn about the culture, their languages, and the way of life, and a lot of global situations back in the day. So I always knew I was gonna ended up doing some kind of social service project or aid. When I learned about Médecins Sans Frontières, Medics Without Borders, Doctors Without Borders, I knew I wanted to be part of that organization. So that's what made me go to med school. I started med school in Mexico for 2 semesters, but then my dad he was sick with cancer, so I moved back to Costa Rica to help take care of them. And I ended up staying here and having contact with Doctors Without Borders, which I was accepted. One of my dreams was to go to Africa and work there. So that was my ideal life was back then. But I met my husband and I couldn't leave because my dad was really bad. He passed away. Actually, that year I met my husband. I knew I was going to have difficulties having children, which was one of my main priorities in life, also to be alone through adoption, not biological children. But, with my husband and everything, we wanted also at the end to have biological children. So I finished school, but I started immediately with the treatment for artificial insemination because back in the 90s in Costa Rica, in vitro fertilization was forbidden by law, which is a very stupid thing. So I was lucky enough to get pregnant in the 8th try that we had. So I had a really difficult pregnancy. I stayed here, and then my son was born with special needs, and so I decided to stay here. I didn't live with Doctors Without Borders, but I always had the drive to do something. So after 3 years, I started treatment again, and I had my second son. I stayed home for a while to raise them. And I volunteered at the Children's Hospital here in Costa Rica, meanwhile. And after that, I studied social work, which was one of also my favorite professions. Mm-hmm. And then we started working with the orphanage in Africa and in Guinea-Bissau, which is called Casa Manuel. And we decided to adopt. So we went there, we stayed there when we volunteer work. And we ended up adopting my little girl. She's 11 right now. And we moved back to Costa Rica. We came back. We helped other couples with the process of adoption and, volunteering work in the orphanage and here in Costa Rica. That's when my kids started to attend the school, Tree of Life. And I talked to the principal, Christian, and proposed a community outreach class.
Which we all love, by the way.
Thank you. Because I think to be part of the world, to be part of, to be a global citizen, which is very important for these generations to grab the idea that we're all connected. The world is one big community. So in order to make the world better, we have to to help raise our community and to value our roots. That's why we started working also with indigenous people, knowing about their languages and everything. So that's why we have so many projects here.
So when you started kind of switching into community service more than medicine, was there ever a point where you had to kind of mix both of them? Because I know a lot of people...
Yes, actually I've been lucky enough to have medical roots because, for example, during pandemic where there were a lot of migrant waves coming through Costa Rica, people from, South America, Venezuela, Colombia, from Haiti, from Africa, from Syria, they were going through Costa Rica, living on the streets. So we collected donations with another teacher from England, Teacher Ram, who had basis also in medicine. And we went to the streets, and take care, trying to help them all with who most we could. We took care of a lot of sick kids with diarrhea, with poor conditions, anemic. So yeah, it's been very, very helpful working with some of the people.
Yeah. What would you advise to students looking to work in this field?
Don't lose your humanity. Don't forget that we can live with a purpose. We can, every day, we have the power to make a difference in somebody else's life. And we have to be very focused and intentional so that this difference is a positive different in other people's lives. That's like a superpower we all have. And especially in this kind of profession.
Yeah.
It's not all about money. It's the humanitarian side of medicine.
Yeah. To Sofi, what has been something impacting for you that you think should be brought to light about working in this area that's not often so talked about?
Well, believe it or not, it's difficult to have people volunteering because we work many projects with different people, different communities, and it's really hard to have doctors volunteering with us. We have reached out to a lot of doctors, and it's very difficult to have people actually taking part of their day to volunteer, So that's something that's
it's very important. Yeah. And just anything else you want to tell me about if like as me as you know, I want to go into healthcare and I'm very big on social service projects and stuff like that.
I'm very proud of you.
What would you advise me? Yeah.
Oh, the same thing I said. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose your humanity, which I don't lose. You can always, any kind of profession you choose, that's what I tell my kids. Any kind of profession you choose, you can always help, no matter what. And especially in medicine, any branch of medicine, you can always make a difference. You can always help. Don't lose that. Don't lose sight of that as a goal for your life, because actually it brings you more than other aspects of life.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice.
Thanks. Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to this episode of From Girl to Great. Here are the top 3 things we can learn from this episode. 1. Purpose doesn't require a straight path. A meaningful impact comes from staying true to your values, even when life takes you in unexpected directions. 2. Healthcare skills can extend far beyond hospitals. Medical knowledge can be a powerful tool for supporting communities in crisis and underserved settings. 3. Humanity is the most important part of service. True fulfillment in healthcare and social work comes from compassion, intention, and serving others, over prestige or money. If this episode inspired you, go follow From Girl to Great wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to check out our website and Instagram, which are linked below the episode, to find out about other things our organisation is doing to empower young women to lead in healthcare. On our website, you can find out how to become an ambassador like Sophie, supporting the From Girl to Great mission, and getting exclusive opportunities to publish podcasts, write blog posts, and take on leadership roles. If you're a company listening to this episode, consider partnering with From Girl to Great to expand your mission and ours. Find out more on our website. Thanks for listening and see you next time.